Well, let's talk about something entirely else. A little bit talking about news and a little bit about other thoughts. Hi, for those who are watching, this is the Angry Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer, bringing just my thoughts on something. I tried to create a good story behind this, but every time I thought about that story, I fell short. I was going to talk about something that has been going around the web a little bit. And the title should be The Era is Changing. And how is that to be? Well, because recently we read that a manga piece who were from, I think, was it the Weekly Shonen Jump? I mean, they were in the Jump versus, so I think it's always been Jump. Was the Kamaichi, the police manga series, is now finally going to reach its end. It's been 40 years. 1975, or was it? No, maybe 76. I think one of the longest running mangas ever, if not the longest manga. I don't know. I think there have been some other who was supposedly to have existed ever since 1962. But now people are actually beginning to question a little bit. Is Shonen Jump losing their era, and are the manga pieces ending? In fact, what do we even want from a manga nowadays? Because this last year of 2016 has been a lot of mangas quitting. Well, not quitting or ending, although some have been reportedly ended prematurely, so we speak. So I have gone back and actually checked a little bit about the ongoing, currently, and series that are about to end. Whatever if it's going to be next year or some who has ended now, they have been completely clear that they are reaching their end. Those series that have reached and are about to reach their end is Bleach. We all know that ended 1 month ago or a couple of weeks ago through mixed reviews. I think it was even parodied in another manga. What was that ending? Was it good or was it bad? I mean, you can watch my manga rant about that. I don't know. It was something about that manga ending that just wasn't satisfied enough. But at the same time, I always wondered, Bleach could never really truly reach a satisfying ending for me. Why? Because, well, it was a good series for me. I mean, it was full of despair, but it was a good series for me. A lot of people did not like it after the Soul Society arc. I disagree. The anime of that scene is actually pretty enjoyable to watch. So what do they not like? I guess just that what one of Bleach's weakest points was its extraordinary slow pacing. I mean, it took 15, maybe even 10 chapters just to finish one single fight. The villain got down, then up again, the villain got down, then up again. Even the hero went down and up again. It was extremely repetitive. And also, the artist, Tite Kubo, has not exactly been praised for his art. The action he has been praised for, but he has not been praised for that a lot of characters, especially in the final arc, looked exactly the same. So Bleach ended, and with that end, a lot of people are actually on the high seat, me included. The fact that Bleach and Naruto, together with One Piece, was usually classified as the big three, the most popular shonen series you ever read. In fact, in school, you probably almost talked about them. In fact, even there, I have to talk a little bit about that topic. Have you ever thought about it when you were a bit younger? Which was the mangas you always was talking about? Most of the time it was Naruto because Naruto was more popular than One Piece at the time. Then it was Bleach, and then it was Naruto, and then finally One Piece. Because even though as popular as One Piece has been, I think people talked about Naruto first. Maybe because it's got a solid dub faster. was solid is solid. There are always people who say that the dub was junk. And I'm not talking about One Piece right now. I'm talking about the Naruto. But well, I don't know. The dub of Naruto is not exactly that bad. I mean, I don't like that female voice, but then again, it's actually pretty suitable for that. What do you say? Naruto's English voice. That's actually pretty uncommon for an anime dubber forever having that. But at the same time, maybe it suits. And also, then again, One Piece got a 4 Kids dub, and people still cannot drop that. And when I mean drop that, I mean it doesn't exist anymore. Although some have still criticized the Funimation, I have never disliked the Funimation dub. I like it. What I do not like about One Piece dub is simply because they stopped dubbing the songs. But we're getting off topic again. What I mean to talk about is, with Bleach now ending, it's only One Piece is classified as the big three that is still here. And is that a sign that even One Piece is reaching its end? Lately, one or 2 months ago, Uda says his series was 65% complete, which a lot of people did not like. 65? You mean it took him 5 years to finish just 5% of an arc? People are wondering how many years is One Piece gonna exist, because One Piece cannot end too early. The pacing of One Piece is extremely slow, but very detailed, which is one of One Piece's strong points. But people still are a bit worried about that series, because they are asking how many years do Uda have in his stamina bank, and people guess 8, because their biggest theory is that he's gonna change One Piece into a monthly series, which is also one of my biggest fears, because, well, he just doesn't have the stamina to continue doing this. A lot of series have switched to monthly, although they're not shown in Jump. You take that series UK Holder, for example, a spiritual successor sequel to Negima. Negima have gotten both praise and not praise. I don't really know why I said about it myself, didn't read it, but UK Holder at the beginning, some were very entertaining to me. Then we got to that training part, and then we got to that people called Squick part. Now, and then we just got stuck at the same thing until it finally revealed to become monthly after October. So no, it's one of the few series which I actually begin to say that no, I don't think I want to read that series anymore. But again, that's not Weekly Shonen, or I mean Shonen Jump. I think it was something else. So what I mean to say is, with the era is changing. Old hits have said their goodbye, and we have to ask ourselves: are we now gonna embrace new hits, or or seeing that people nowadays only want to read online? Because I think that's one of the reasons why mangas of Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece sold so well, is because they couldn't be read online as much as they can do now. But have is the era changing into new hits, or is Shonen Jump reaching their end of their empire of magazines? Who knows? With Bleach ending, we need a replacement for that. And some people have already said a series called Red Sprite, I think, is supposed to be a spiritual successor to Bleach. Do not exactly know why. Read some pieces of it. I feel like it has potential, but it doesn't have a strong female character yet. And if it doesn't have a strong female character, then I'm getting a bit worried about that series. But it also has some horror-like moments, and the pacing is pretty fast. But then again, everything should be. So I'm not exactly sure if that series is gonna be strong. There have been some new series that have gotten very high, but before we get to that point, let's talk about another thing about the big three. Actually, I think once upon a time there were a big five. There were 5 other series that also were very, very talked about. Of course, Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece have been the one you mostly have talked about. Then, if you were to take a big five similar to the jungle out there, or the savannah, or whatever, who were the other two? I don't really exactly know which one I could rank, but if I think I would rank them as Hunter x Hunter, a series I have watched but never acknowledged. It's true, Hunter x Hunter is unique, somewhat. Well, maybe not that unique, but I have never. I. It's enjoyable to watch just as much as I hate it. Why do I hate it so much? Well, besides the female voices, maybe it's more likely because of the fact that the author is always taking so many breaks. Because I fear for that. Is One Piece gonna end before Hunter? Because even now, Togashi is saying he has a new uh, manga he wants to create, and if I were to speak honestly, there is no way Togashi can create another manga after this, even if he were to finish this. So I'm actually wondering, is Hunter x Hunter ever going to end in our lifetime in the next 10 years? Because people believe that One Piece only have 10 years left, because that's only how much we do not want to jinx this, but Oda's life force and stamina can only last for 8 or 10 more years. So we'll see, won't we? Then who is the fifth? Should we place that as Gintama? Because even now, Gintama is another series that is also reaching its end. And that series has been a blast. I mean, I didn't get into it until very, very late. But it has been a very good combination of uniqueness, parody, and at the same time comedy and action and seriousness. And a small team, and yet every single one have been unique watching. If you think about it, uh, I wouldn't exactly say that maybe Gintama was unique, but it felt unique. It was one of those few mangas that had enormous toilet humor about everything, about crap, piss, and even vomit. But I think the concept was pretty good. Aliens invading feudal Japan and then modernizing it. However, I've always feared how Gintama is gonna end, and given to this final arc is being, it's very likely that that theory is very gonna be very what's that word going to be true. So who is these? Who are of all these four? Who are their spiritual successors? People rank Red Sprite as Bleach's spiritual successor. Another series, Black Clover, the one I have been reviewing, liked it. People have ranked that as Naruto's spiritual successor. It has been called one of the worst mangas to ever read, but I disagree with that. True, it may not have so much originality sometimes, but then again, I hate when people say that nowadays literature and everything has to have originality. Because originality is not as easy to find anymore, people. You always need to find something you base on. Look at Toriko, for example, and Dragon Ball. Both Toriko have many similarities to Dragon Ball, especially the bulked up men. But moreover, look at the Fist of the North Star. That's just one series that, in a way, Toriko have many similarities to Fist of the North Star. I mean, not a serious tone, of course, but the fact that it consists of big muscular men, I think it's almost called a food version of Fist of the North Star. So, in a way, was Toriko a successor to Fist of the North Star? But even Toriko is about to reach its end. Also, who or was Boku no Hero a successor to Naruto? Because even that manga have gotten a very high praise this year, been on a roll. So I'm not exactly sure about them. Another series that is worth noting is of course Food Wars Shogeki no Soma. I don't exactly know if I could place that with a successor. If Toriko ended, maybe I would place that as a successor because it is a foodgasm show, but it's not action. It's just characters and food. But there have been some new series, like Red Sprite and The Promised Neverland, that have gotten some minor talk. The Promised Neverland, I wouldn't say is unique for a Shonen Jump series, but it has a certain theme to it that it's not exactly well known to read in Shonen Jumps or weekly Shonens, and that is tragedy. tragedy and dark fantasy. Of course, another monthly series called Seraph of the End, although that's one series that also pretty unique for a week for a shonen, not shonen jump. It's not classified as that. It's classified as jump SQ, but the concept is the same. It's also pretty unique on that, mostly because it contains a very high amount of hojei. But The Promised Neverland, I read somewhat of that. Mm, maybe it has potential, but it's full of scary and horror, and I do not read that. So I'm actually asking myself, is Promised Neverland also going to become big? But if they're only gonna spend that in the orphanage, then I feel like it will become a bit dull. But then again, I don't know. And speaking about successors, what is the Promised Neverland gonna be classified as? Don't know. But I think I know one other series that will be classified as Gintama's successor, even though that has existed for a long time now. That's One Punch Man. I have not watched the anime, but I saw some clips and immediately I just said, okay, this humor is just like Gintama, although way up. And if you think about it, One Punch Man's humor is way up top, just similar to Gintama. Maybe not as much toilet humor, but the parody, the way the characters overreact. Yeah, I'd say One Punch Man feels like a successor to Gintama. It has not stuck with me yet, but who knows? Maybe it will later. All in all, the era of mangas are changing. Is it changing for the better or is it changing for the worst? Who knows? The fact is that we need to give new series a chance if we ever want to keep manga alive. Manga will always be, but we will all alas only hear of the bigger things. And that is the fact that there are still some other magazines having their good way with Fairy Tail, Nanatsu no Taisai, and their mangas. They're having also very big. Although people just want to drop Fairy Tail right now. If I could strangle those people, I would. But that's beside the point. And Nanatsu no Taisai have also gotten high praise. So, what other series is there? Well, they still haven't serialized Tokiwa Kitare, the next ecchi series from Shun Matsuda. I just wish they would English subscribe it, but I feel like it's not selling very much, so that series will not live long. But it, strangely enough, have not been cancelled yet. But it's one of the best combination of perversion and action ever, because that artists really know how to meld it in together. So another thing, oh yeah, we did not talk about World Trigger. Gotten some hype, but I don't see World Trigger as a successor to anyone. So so the Shonen Jump series are slowly fading away, and now with the end of that 40-year-old series, One Piece is probably gonna be one of the oldest series on this list. But the problem is a problem. How long will One Piece exist? And what will happen when it finally ends? If you think about it, if many of these which I mentioned has been successors to other big things, then I have to ask myself, will someone ever create a successor to One Piece? I wouldn't say One Piece is that unique, but at the same time, the story, the adventure, the characters, and everything else, everybody want to create that kind of story. But when they do, people will immediately say, no, that's just a One Piece ripoff. Unfortunately, true, because I wouldn't want to say One Piece stole many things, but the way they have melded together, they created an awesome universe. And one of these days, someone needs to create a universe very similar to that one. Will it be any of these long-lived series that have existed for about 5, 7 years or 6 years now? People believe no, because they say that none of these series will live to, at least they will live to 200, but then not longer. Shugeki no Soma is reaching their 200 chapters, but will it exist longer? That doesn't look like a series that is meant to be exist longer. Haiku, just like that, because it's a sports series. So who will exist longer? What will you read? Will you still read them even when they have ended, or will you always drop a new ones? Will this be the end of Shonen Jump's empire and start of a new one, or will the era changing? Because the era is changing in more ways than just mangas. What do you think about all this change and about these new mangas that are reaching in your place? Give me your thoughts if you have any.